Cementerio de Mascotas se estrena este próximo fin de semana. Basado en la novela de Stephen King, nos muestra la historia de una familia que llega a vivir a una nueva casa. Como parte de la propiedad también adquieren varias hectáreas. En dicho terreno se encuentra el Cementerio de Mascotas. Cuenta la leyenda que hay un lugar donde si algún ser fallece y lo entierras en ese lugar, regresa de la muerte. Sin embargo, lo que regresa recobra vida con cierta maldad. Ya no es lo que solía ser. Ahora imagina tener la brutalidad de perder un hijo. Eso es lo que enfrentan los protagonistas de esta película. La disyuntiva de enterrar a su ser querido en ese lugar para que regrese con ellos, sabiendo que tal vez lo que regrese no es precisamente la persona que alguna vez amaron. ¿Ustedes lo harían?
Congratulations. I'm from Mexico. I'm not easy to scare.
Yeah. Hug your daughter.
Something I got since the first movie. I always make these questions. Could you do it?
Oh man.
I know it's hard because you don't know the consequences.
I can't say no, honestly. I mean, like, it's horrible to say that, but I mean, like, a lot of times in this movie, we'd be talking scenes through with producers and the writers and stuff, and there were certain times where somebody might say, like, somebody would never do this. And then somebody else in the room would say, I would do that. So the fact that everybody kind of came to it with, a different stance, if you could bring your loved one back from the dead, would you, I think that's why the movie is so strong, because it's not black and white, it's gray, Everybody's gonna bring their own interpretation to the movie and walk away with something different from it. Certain people are gonna see things that are scary and taboo, and other people are gonna see things that are morbid hope, So I mean, like, it's human nature. I mean, people don't really have a firm grip of death. It's a universal theme that we all have dealt with or are gonna have to deal with, but the key to it is communicating about it and talking about it and understanding it. Like, you see how in New Orleans, they celebrate death. When somebody dies and they have a funeral, they all get out and they sing and it's a great thing, And a lot of cultures do that and a lot of cultures don't do that,
Well,
so
in Mexico, the death it's a celebration, a big celebration.
No, in a lot of cultures, a lot of religions and stuff. So I mean, it's just this universal theme that's never going to go away. And this movie tries to deal with the idea of how do you tell your kid about death? How do you prepare them for it? And if you don't, is it making it worse? Is it a chain reaction that's going to spiral out of control?
It's not some campfire story.
Saw these in the trees up there.
They're warnings.
When I read the book, I had to put it down actually at the point where he opens up the casket when he's dug it up and he sees his son. He's got a line in there that says, he's dressed in a suit. No 3-year-old should ever be dressed in a suit, You're dead at that point usually, And that always made me stop. And I would think that at that point, even if I was, because I couldn't say that I wouldn't. I mean, shit, you can lose your mind. Losing a child, I can't imagine it. But that would give me pause. I'd probably lose my mind and break down and, they'd find me there in the morning. So I'd really have such a brain explosion that would stop me. Open up a casket and seeing my child in there, you'd be mad. I'd be in an asylum at that point.
In the woods today, LA discovered a charming little landmark.
If you don't know the result, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I probably would just because
Just because you're from Florida.
I'm impulsive.
And you'd like to see what happens. You Floridians just like to see how it works
I just like to mix
out.
things up and shake it, see if it explodes, But yeah, I think that if it, knowing me emotionally, I would like to say, I'm very thoughtful and will think things through, but I know myself and I don't.
Place to bury our pets and remember them. Might seem scary, but it's not. Perfectly natural. Just like dying is natural.
In a first sight, it's a movie about parenthood, about loss.
Yeah.
But it makes this horrible question.
Right.
If you could bring back something you love, could you do it? I think that's the most powerful thing about the movie.
Yeah.
Local tribes carved them before they fled. They feared that place.
I think the scariest thing about the movie is that question. It's not.
Of course it is.
It's
yeah.
not the
No, of course it is. Of
child.
course. That's the wonderful thing he does in the book, and I think that's the wonderful thing the film does. It reduces it to a point where you can find yourself asking that. And if you can ask yourself that question during the course of watching this movie, then you will have a great time watching it. And that's where, you lean into this family. If you can lean in and get there and see yourself, well, okay, it's not that big a jump. And that single premise that's it. That's the catch fire.
Whole town's been using this place for generations. Folks make a kind of ritual out of it.
How does it work being two directors in a set?
Me and Dennis have been working together for like 25 years, so it's kind of like
Pretty easy for us.
It's just the way we know how to do it. I mean, like we've been working together since like film school, you know, where we learned how to do this, you know, like, so it's just kind of like this is the way we learned, and it's like we figure everything out in prep, like we kind of have like one vision almost. It's like even when there are times where we disagree on some things, we usually like have talked that all out beforehand in prep, and we've come to some kind of you know, compromise, which actually is not even the definition of the word compromise, because whatever, you know, we come up with is usually better than what one of us wanted to do, and then like we go on to set and we now are all on the same page, and it's like, and it's just, now there's just two of us.
Those woods belong to something else. Something.
I always have this question. There's moment you get really scared in the set, or it's got, okay, you start laughing. I don't know, the atmosphere, it's scary.
No, you've really, I mean, as an actor, you've really got to deliver. There's nowhere to hide. There's not many sitting around, just a bit of generalized stuff, you know, talking, moving in, but then it's on, you know what I mean? It's on. So we would laugh a lot. We just find a way to find our relationships so that we're extremely comfortable with each other. You know, there's a lot of things going on. This couple's trying to, you know, work together and work through it with children and find the space, you know, to have a family, to still be a husband and wife and treat each other like such, you know, and not really as it slowly creeps in and starts to infect them.
Hug your daughter.
I should never have shown you that place.
There's no moments where you, I don't know, if you disagree with something, how do you make an agreement?
It's like Kevin said, I mean, really, 9 times out of 10, if we don't agree on something, through talking it through, you arrive at something better. And I think if we can't agree on it, typically there's one person that cares more about it, you know? And so in that situation, you defer to the other person. And so you have to, you know, humble yourself, you know? It's like, it really is. I mean, it's collaborative. That's what filmmaking is. There are all these other people you have to convince. You have to convince the actors, the producers, cameraman, the editor. I mean, everybody has a say. Everybody has a collaboration. Kevin and I having to do it first with ourselves just makes us that much easier to collaborate with all the other people on the film set. You know, we like discussions. We like arguments. We like hearing things through, you know?
Makes us stronger.
Yeah, we always want to hear somebody else's opinion because it begins with the two of us asking each other's opinion. So I actually think it's a good tool to have a director that you work with, because it helps the bigger picture.